Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday Wake Up with the Teach Better team. We are easing into this morning. It is Wednesday. We are finally in March, and we are so excited to get your week, just like give you a little bit of a boost. Like Wednesday, sometimes you get stuck in the grind. Joshua Stamper is live with us today, and we are talking about how to keep you supported. And I'm just really appreciative that you guys are tuning in so bright and early. So stick with us. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And we'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. It is the Wednesday Wake Up with the Teach Better team. Joshua Stamper in the house. Josh, I feel like I'm off my game because you're here. Usually when you're live, I'm watching you and not live with you.
I know, it's so strange. We were talking about that. It's like me and you flip and then Jeff and Katie flip.
Yes.
So it's me and you never get to be on screen together.
Well, and legitimately, I'm headed to a school in like literally half an hour. So I actually almost texted you and was like, hey, can you do the show tomorrow? Because I'm going to be out. And then Jeff texted. He was like, hey, I'm out tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay. So Josh, just kidding. You're still involved in the show, just not for me.
Well, I'm excited because now I get to be on with you, Ray.
Well, I always like seeing you too. Good morning to everybody that is tuning in live. Great to see those comments and also having you engage with the feed. If you guys are willing to share so that your friends and family see the stream, that would be so wonderful as we stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. But so good to see everyone. Good morning. Good morning. And Brad Hughes, Julie, they're all ready for a good day, Josh. It's Wednesday.
They're awake and in the comments. I love it. So good morning to everyone. I hope you're ready for your Wednesday and have some coffee in hand. I know I've been trying to put it into my body as quickly as possible because I need more and more of it.
So Josh, obviously Wednesday Wake Up, we do the hard hitting stuff here. So I have two questions that I have held back all day. When I mean all day, I mean for the last hour. Okay. And I need our community support and I need your advice or help. So do you want to start with the scary one or the dilemma?
Those both sound scary, so I'll go scary first.
Oh, I wasn't prepared to share the scary. I'm still recovering. Okay. Here's my question for the community. And I'm so glad that the comments just like exploded because we really need your advice here. Okay. Imagine you wake up at 4:30 and you get in the shower and there's a spider in the shower. While the water's running, you're showering. And the spider has decided to move all over the shower. This is not a stagnant spider. We're moving and grooving up, down, around a thing. Do you just leave it? What's the plan? Like, what happens? Do you got a shower? Do you jump out? Do you put water? Or like, what do you do? I just need to know. Like,
as long as it's dead, that's really.
It's not dead.
No,
it's alive.
I know, but you need to make it dead.
Right. So, but this, like, what's the strategy? Because again, 4:30 in the morning, haven't had coffee yet. So, like, whatever you do, this is the mind you've got. What's the support?
I'm grabbing anything I possibly can quickly and ending its life. That's what I'm doing. So.
Okay, but like, what do you use in the shower? I need specifics, Josh.
Oh, look in the comments. It's blurry.
Okay, here we go. So, spider down the drain with water. Okay, yes, I agree. However, my struggle was like, it was too high to do that. Spray it with a shower stream.
Are you
yes.
cupping and
that's
throwing?
Shower stream, yes, except this shower that I was in didn't have like a handheld. That was the problem. Let's just say it's the shower's fault for not having a handheld option. Because then you can just like, shh, you know what I'm saying? You know
can I also share a scary?
Oh my God. I don't know that I can handle it, Josh.
No, you won't be able to handle it. That's why I want to tell you.
I know I'm newly medicated on anxiety medication, but I don't know that I can take this early. Go ahead, Josh.
You're going to love this because this happened last night. So I went out to my garage to take my very large dog out. And the backpack next to me moved.
Okay, hold on. You're in your garage, the backpack next to you moved, and
Yes.
you have the dog in hand. So it's
No,
not
I don't. The
dog.
dog ran away from me, and so it's just me in the garage, and the backpack moved. So I thought, that's weird.
Yeah, hold on.
So
That's weird. Also, hold on. You have like 1,200 kids and 11 dogs. Were they all accounted for? Could it just have been a
it was
baby?
very late. It was very late. It was like almost midnight. So I take my phone, I flash the flashlight on jackets, backpacks that are hanging in our garage, and I see a little movement again. So I just happened to look over, and there was a broom. I took the broom and I hit the backpack, and a very large rat
Oh,
fell out onto the ground and then ran out. In which case, I would have loved for my dog to have been right there with me, but
oh my God.
alas, that did not happen. So,
Are you saying that a rat in your garage is the same as a spider in your shower? I feel like we could write a children's book.
I don't know, but I was a little scarred, right? I'm not gonna lie.
This legitimately happened to you last night?
Yeah, no lie. No lie. I took all the backpacks, I took everything out of the garage. They were getting washed today. I was so
Yeah, it's just
disgusted.
cringy.
Oh, my whole body. My whole body.
Oh my God. This is not a good way to wake people up on a Wednesdays. Friends, we're sorry. Here's what we're telling you. You know I believe in this through and through. You only get one major hiccup a day, and Josh and I took care of you. Josh had one, I had one. There's no way you're going to have a hiccup in your day. You're going to have a smooth sailing day after these stories. There's no showers that you're going to have to take with spiders later. There's no rats in your garage. We took care of it.
Done. That's
Also,
what we
Josh,
do here at Teach Better.
yeah, it does make it sound like you live in like a terrible place.
I know. I really don't. It's a beautiful city, Frisco, Texas, and I was shocked, but very disgusted. So we will be remedying that as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it looks like Brad Hughes is going to be calling you later with a book deal. He wants to call it "If You Give a Rat a Backpack."
That sounds like a beautiful children's story. There's a lesson in there.
Okay, so I feel like I got the feedback I needed. I didn't do any of those things though, hence the shower situation. I just kept the spider I kept my eye on the spider, showered, got out, was like, not my problem this morning.
The quickest shower of all time.
It was, but you know what? Like, I probably needed it. I need to get up early, get ready for the school we're going to go to, and then jump on with you. So for all I know, the spider is eating my dogs right now upstairs, and it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, you had another one. There was a scary, and then there was a dilemma.
A dilemma. Okay, friends, here's a real dilemma. And some of you might be experiencing this or have experienced this because it's early right now, right? So Josh and I are on Central Time at 6 a.m. A lot of us operate on East Coast or so wherever you are in your morning. I had a Wednesday wake up show with you, and typically I would drink coffee during the show, right? But yeah, exactly. But I am headed to a school right after this. And so I was going to treat myself and go get like Starbucks or something. So my dilemma was, do I really need to make coffee right this moment just to then essentially have it sit and then go get the actual coffee I'm going to be drinking? Or do I not have coffee during the show and I go get coffee after the show, which literally like 30 minutes, I'll have a coffee and it'll be fine.
The only dilemma is not having coffee.
So you would have made a pot of coffee just for the show?
Yes.
Joshua Stamper, you're my hero.
I drink so much coffee, right?
I know, but like, I guess in my mind, I'm like, but then it's like I'm wasting a pot of coffee. Here's the problem. I don't know how to make a small pot of coffee. I only know how to make 8 cups. So
you've seen my mugs. You know how large my mugs are. So
yeah,
this is not a dilemma in my eyes. I mean, I think Julie Ann is agreeing with me on this.
Yeah. So I chose wrong. So I decided not to make coffee. I had orange juice, which by the by, not coffee. Nope. But it was something. And I'm going to go get coffee.
Actually, Ray, this was 2 scary stories. Not having coffee is
I know.
scary.
I know, and I don't have like my cute little mug I usually hold.
Yeah,
You
your
know, like
little.
this is my shtick. This is my shtick. So Josh,
Yes,
that's what I'm bringing to the table this morning. I held the show, carried the show.
many people are scarred this morning with
I'm
our
so
little
sorry.
our little friends that we had encountered, and then also no coffee in our life.
I think we need like a positive story to uplift this. I know we're going to get into some really good educational conversation here in a bit, but I feel like we need to lift the mood. I think we depressed people.
Maybe some folks can throw some like gratitude items in the chat to lift up people's
Something.
spirits.
Yeah, I think like a little, if everyone could just take 2 seconds, post a nice comment, maybe wishing one another a good Wednesday, a little uplift, and then we'll get into some educational conversation and try not to depress you. We'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. We are back for our Wednesday wake up show with the Teach Better team. Josh, I do have to say, I like those commercials. I don't know what we did on live streams before those commercials because they do give a little bit of a boost as well. Obviously, the comments coming in, like saying nice things to one another, giving each other some encouragement on this Wednesday morning is nice, but doing that alongside some good pop music, like that's a win-win.
I'm always jumping around when the music's playing. I just, it doesn't matter how many times you hear it, it still is uplifting. So music is
Yeah,
a
I love it.
huge presence in our lives. So we need to make sure that we lean into it.
Okay, this is a side conversation. Now I'm totally ruining the show. But did you see Katie and I went live last week in the ambassador group?
Yep.
And essentially, we were live we were trying to give presentation tips and tricks because we have a lot of ambassadors who are like trying to go out there, present at conferences, whatever. Instead, for the first 5 minutes, we got distracted and we just played with the StreamYard backgrounds and like commercials. So we went back to like shows that we don't have anymore, Daily Drop In and Brain Break and like all these different things, and just were clicking the commercials to see if we remembered the songs. It's really funny.
When you two are together, I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Well, and who decided we were going to go live in the ambassador group and like try to do something effective? Like, there's no way.
Not me. I
no
know.
way.
I've seen that show before.
Yeah, terrible. But it was funny to like relive some of the Daily Drop-In commercials because obviously I was on the show typically 5 days a week, if not 4 days a week. And so I heard those commercials endlessly, and we were live for Daily Drop-In for an entire school year, every single Monday through Friday, including through like winter breaks and stuff. So I heard those commercials a ton, and I didn't get a single one right. Katie's like, do you remember this song? And I'm like, I like blocked it all out.
A little walk down memory lane for you.
Exactly. It was nice. Yeah. Anywho, so it's Wednesday Wake Up. We want to provide you with some conversation. And Josh and I were actually in a mastermind yesterday that had some good discussion. So we kind of want to bring that conversation here to our community from a teacher's lens, because we were specifically in our admin mastermind group focused on leadership lens through this dialogue. And there were so many good resources shared, but from a teacher's lens, I think there's some good reality here. So Josh, can you really quick tell us a little bit about Admin Mastermind?
Yeah, of course. So we meet every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Time. And yeah, our conversation was on the connection versus compliance piece. And so, for administrators right now, that a lot of them in the world is to start to get into classrooms and finish up those observations and start working on the assessment process with teachers. And, we're just talking through the power of connection and making sure that we're touching the needs of the teachers versus just strictly going through a checklist with domains and trying to get that process done. So although it's important, there's ways to give feedback every single day that is helpful and non-threatening to teachers. And so really going through that and trying to be creative on what that looked like every single day. And I just love that mastermind group so much. They are so uplifting to each other and really trying to focus on solving issues or being creative and, making sure that everybody is finding a good solution. So love that time together. And, for anyone out there that's an admin that's looking for a way to connect with other administrators, Tuesday mornings for you.
Yeah, could be good. From a teacher's perspective, I know I said this to you earlier before we went live, but I feel like evaluations are something that many, many teachers have been taught to be scared of.
Hmm.
And I know that we are all familiar with the story of the leadership teams who might use evaluations as a weapon for teachers. But I think even the administrators who aren't doing that get that reputation. I do think it's kind of bred in us to be scared of feedback, scared of evaluation tools because we feel like they're threatening. Would you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I was trying to think about that when we were talking, and I really do think just in education as a whole, assessments have been used. I mean, when you think about it as a student, like there's a lot of anxiety when you take a test
Yeah.
or any assessment that you're not going to live up to whatever expectation there is. And so I think it is human nature, and I think in education as a whole umbrella, I think that assessment and feedback is kind of bred to be scary. And so when you're a teacher, I think that just kind of carries over. And, we do have high expectations for ourselves. And so we want to do well. At the same point, I think the assessment process and, what is being provided by an administrator is kind of overblown. I think in our minds, we have made it something where, oh, I will, it's going to be on my record forever. It's going to stick with me. It's one of these things where I'll maybe not get a job somewhere, or maybe I'll get fired from where I currently am. And what, especially in the conversation yesterday, which I loved, which is the culture of feedback. Like as admin, how are we making it so it's less scary and intimidating and really there to be non-judgmental and to help teachers just fine tune things, right? We're not looking for you to change everything.
Well, and I think that that is the beautiful shift of hopefully where we can take this conversation, because even in the comments, we have somebody commenting that evaluations are scary, especially when you're not tenured. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly how I felt. Like I understand this anxiety of I'm nervous about an evaluation because I want to keep my job, which to be honest, friends, and I know this is like terrible to say, but like that's not the reason you're going to get fired. Like if you're losing your job, you first off will know far before that evaluation. And second of all, that's not going to be the thing. So I'm struggling because I lived in this world for a decade thinking that evaluations were my either safe zone, where it was meaning that I was going to keep my job, or it was going to end my career. And the reality is, to be honest, like with this network, if you lose your job or you're looking for a job, you should reach out to the Teach Better team. We would love to help you find the right job, the right placement, coach you in any way. Josh, I know that you and I constantly meet with people in the spring with like interview techniques. Like we want all of you to be successful. So don't be nervous about doing something that you know is good for kids because you're worried about your job. On the second lens of that, though, we all can improve at our jobs. Our
Yes.
jobs are something that we can't be complacent in, and we need to constantly improve. And one of the best ways to improve is to get personalized feedback. We know that because we give our students that same thing. Josh and I work on this a lot just as colleagues, is giving each other feedback. Josh, what are your thoughts on this? Give me some feedback. I really want your voice, your lens, your brain. I think that's a huge strength of the people that we work with, is getting the ability to tap into their insight. And so if we connect feedback to evaluation, then we don't get that same value. And I think that that's really, really scary.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, looking at the comments too, someone put in like, how important it is to have a relationship with your admin. That gives a lot of weight to words. If
Mhm.
I have a great relationship with you, Ray, which I do, when you give me feedback, I don't take it personal, or I don't
Yeah.
have a story that I've conjured up in my head about like how you feel about me. Am I going to lose my job? Like there's no insecurity there because of that relationship that's built. So, a lot of teachers don't understand about the assessment process, what that is even there, like why it's even exists, especially if you're young teachers. So, go out, start having those conversations with leaders and with your admin about like, what is the process about? What does it mean? So that way you have the knowledge and it's not so scary.
Well, and I want to get back to that in this dialogue because we talked about love languages yesterday, and I think that's a really good entry point into that conversation. But really quick, in the comments, with the relationship comment, that relationships with your administrator can affect how comfortable you are with evaluations. I actually want to challenge our viewers here to think that possibly by getting feedback collaboratively with your admin, you can build a stronger relationship. And I want to find a balance between like, you don't need the perfect relationship with somebody to give them feedback, as long as you have some sort of demeanor or presence about you that continues to reinforce that the feedback is so that we all can grow and be incredible together and it's non-threatening. So I think there's a balance here of like, relationships always, right? Relationships always are the answer.
Yep.
But I think that you and I have grown closer because we've actually given each other more feedback this year than we ever have in our friendship prior. So I think that it also could be a tool used for that strength area.
Yeah, I think with that relationship, the more time you spend with someone, the more comfortable you are in that. And so 100% relationships always are the answer. And I think you're coming about not having the greatest relationship with someone and still receiving good feedback is so strong, because I can think of plenty of colleagues that for whatever reason we didn't mesh. However, I still respected their opinion and their feedback enough so when they did say something, I didn't just throw it away. It was something
Right.
that I really had to like kind of chew on and understand, okay, even though I don't have a good relationship potentially with them, like as far as best as friends, I can still take what they're providing me and make shifts. And I think that goes with admin too. A lot of times you only see your admin a couple of times a year. I mean, like I'm thinking back when I was a teacher, they weren't in my classroom a lot. You know, they
Right.
trusted what I was doing. So when, it was essentially checking the box.
Well, respectfully, Josh, you were an art teacher and no one cared what you were doing in your classroom.
That's true. Usually when I did something I wasn't supposed to, like, you know, putting sculptures around the campus and didn't ask permission, that's when they started to like, oh yeah, you do exist. You're not just in that corner anymore. But no. But all that being said is like, you know, a lot of teachers, you know, say that they only see their administrators so many times a year, which is unfortunate. But I could see if that is the case that you would be nervous because it's not something that's consistent. You don't see them all the time. The relationship isn't being grown. So like as a teacher, you know, you might be the one that has to go and initiate that to build that relationship and ask the questions that you need.
That's interesting, Josh. We're talking about getting feedback and having it be non-threatening. And there's so many different ways to do this. But one of the ways that I actually just worked with a school on Monday, so it just feels very fresh in mind, is the conversation around knowing how the person likes to receive like feedback essentially, but we used a different word. We'll start with the word feedback. How the person likes to receive feedback in terms of the medium so that you can give them the most effective learning tool possible. So we use the 5 love languages to do this. And the first thing that we did with the group that I was working with was identify how they like to receive appreciation. That's kind of the word that we shared, because appreciation, for whatever reason, has a better feel than the word feedback. Feedback sometimes gives people like the spider cringe, like, oh no. So we started with appreciation. We're like, how do you feel most appreciated? So do you know the 5 love languages?
Yeah, I actually implemented this on my campus and
Love it.
wrote a chapter in Laney's book in regards to the 5 love languages in regards to gratitude.
I love this. Perfect. So we're going to kind of give our listeners here maybe a little tidbit of something to think about. The 5 love languages, if you're not familiar, we don't have to go into it. You don't have to be an expert, but essentially words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, or physical touch. All things that you can do in different ways. This originally, I think the book was originally written for like a romantic relationship, but it really is applicable in a variety of different mediums, including friendships or professional work environments. So just something to consider. Josh, do you know the way that you kind of like refuel the fastest? We kind of phrase it that way on Monday too. Like if somebody wants to thank you, is there a way that you immediately lean towards feeling the most appreciated versus the least appreciated?
Yeah, I think, well, physical touch, but it's hard in the working relationship, right? So, I
But that
mean,
could be like a high five, a hug, a
oh,
fist
for
bump.
sure.
I mean, yeah,
For
there's
sure.
like so many different, like a pat on the back. Like there are
Yeah.
some, yeah,
So I'm always drawn to that. So I would say that's how, because I've done the assessment before. So that's
yeah.
where that's like number one. Words of affirmation are second. So I think that's, in the educational space, that's thrown around a lot. So that fills my cup easily. So yeah, those are my top two.
Yeah, it was interesting. We had a really good dialogue on Monday about even just the difference of mediums of giving that words of affirmation. So writing a note and putting it in a teacher's mailbox, for some teachers, they're going to save that forever. They're going to feel so warm and fuzzy when they get that. They're going to refer back to it on the hard days. And that's really special. Versus other teachers might get that and say, oh, that's nice. I appreciate it. Thank you. But it doesn't fill them up. It doesn't refuel them in the same way. Versus maybe if you walked up to them and looked them in the eye and said, hey, I really appreciate you. And you could say the same thing you wrote on the note, that has a greater impact and refuels them more quickly. So it was interesting having this conversation because everybody could not only identify their own area of appreciation, but also then learn about the people at their table. And if we knew how to best give words of affirmation or feedback, essentially, appreciation to somebody in a way that really made them feel the best possible, could we do that then for feedback on a consistent basis? So it was just an interesting dialogue.
Well, yeah. And I always say this too, in regards to assessment or feedback. When we talk about learning and all the different strategies, some people are visual, some people love to listen and learn, right? There's so many different ways that we present that material, but when we assess, we typically only do it one way. And so why is that, right? So Can we do it in other forms that people are comfortable with? And this goes along with what you're talking about, with what you've done with the district is, can we assess or provide feedback in a different way that might fit the needs of that person? And, sometimes we get just so busy that we just want to do one size fits all. However, that's not as impactful for each individualized person, which you're talking about, which is the personal, conversation or whatever it might be to provide that feedback.
So I know we are cutting our conversation short here, but I do want to challenge our viewers here this morning with us. Typically, we give you a morning challenge. We're kind of going to throw it into the show right now and challenge you to not only identify maybe your love language, your appreciation medium that best supports you, but take a second. We challenged each other on Monday, take 15 seconds a week, and learn someone else's. And that was the first challenge that we started to enact this. I think that's realistic. It's Wednesday, 15 seconds to learn somebody else's and a few minutes to figure out yours. And maybe we can all be a little bit better engaging with one another when it comes to feedback.
Love it.
I love it. Josh, I know we have a community highlight before we wrap up the show here, so we'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. We are live for the Wednesday Wake Up with the Teach Better team. If you are just tuning in right now, good morning, first off. And second of all, make sure you head back to the replay of this show to hear our discussion on feedback and assessment tools. As we talk through our community highlight, Josh, I know this is somebody that you and I have been able to get to know really well, especially in your role as somebody who runs our podcast network. I'm going to throw this up on screen. Do you want to share a little bit about this incredible man?
Yeah, Jason is phenomenal. He resides in China, and every time I meet with him, he is amazing. He's doing phenomenal work. So not only does he have design casts, but he also has information on YouTube that he's building and has just a plethora of information in regards to technology. So I think he just hit a milestone for his podcast, which is 100 episodes, I believe, for his podcast. He's super excited about, the direction he's going. And I love everything that he's doing. Just a phenomenal person, educator, leader, just making things happen, not only in the States, because that's obviously where his audience mostly resides, but overseas also, and impacting the entire world.
Such a good podcast recommendation, and also somebody you need to go connect with on socials. I know Jason's all over social media, but if you're looking to specifically connect with him, you can just head over to teachbetter.com and go to our podcast network. All of his information, all of his links, everything's there. So you can stay connected to him and also subscribe, rate, and review his podcast, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. He does a brilliant job. So make sure you check it out. I guarantee you're going to love every second of that podcast.
I love it. Josh, thanks for coming live with me. I know that this is a quick show because, we have other things we have to get done today, but it was good to talk shop with you.
I know. I love it, Ray. We need to do it more often.
Well, I would love to do it more often. Can we not do it so early?
Is that my decision? I don't know.
I feel like this is your fault. This is suddenly your fault. Also, thank you for giving us nightmares from earlier. I feel like we should have a warning on this video that's like, do not listen if you are, I don't know, scared of the world. I don't know.
Just a big caution sign somewhere.
Yeah, there needs to be. Yeah. I wish I had that, like something I could click right now and be like, warning. I
just needed everyone else to experience what I did last night because I'm still scarred.
Well, enjoy all the cleaning and anything else that you're going to be doing today to reset from that terrible situation. And hopefully, friends, you have a better Wednesday than Josh and I. But don't worry, we took care of it for you. So you're going to have an awesome week ahead. Let us know if you need anything. We will see you this Sunday for our Sunday show. Bye, friends.